Okay, we've been doing a lot of comparing things. We're going to continue working on comparisons, or putting two things next to each other and seeing how they're the same or different. That's what comparison means. Today, we're going to be looking at a different thing. It's called capacity. Capacity means how much stuff can a thing hold? How much stuff can you put into a container? That's what capacity is all about. Can you put a little bit of stuff in it? Can you put a bunch of stuff in it before it's full or overflowing? That's the capacity. While we're talking about this, you're going to need to get out a certain page that you're going to work on afterwards. It's this page right here, or it's in this book right here, and it's page number 53. It looks like it says capacity making comparisons for anybody that's ripping it out for you. It says 3.6 right here, and it's got a bunch of different glasses on it. Not these kind of glasses. I get them mixed up too. These kind of glasses. So that's what we're going to be working on today. But before we do that, we're going to go on a little field trip. I'm going to show you how we use capacity in our world, okay? Capacity is everywhere, and you can find it in your fridge. Come on! And then you can pause it. Ready? Here we are in the teacher's lounge. This is where all the magic happens when we're not teaching classes in our room. Here is our fridge. Don't judge us. We have a busy life. Come on, let's check out these capacities on these containers. You can even do this in your own fridge. All right, come here. So in our fridge, we've got a bunch of different stuff. I've got bottles of water. This is some kind of juice. This is some kind of juice. We've got creamy poppy seed salad dressing. Sounds disgusting. It's got a capacity. How much dressing is in this thing? That's not how I check. So that won't do it for you. But once you guys learn how to read, which you're going to learn this year or the next, we're going to be figuring out on this bottle, it tells us how much stuff can fit in it. There's a bunch of different measurement types that you can use for capacity. This one says it has 16 fluid ounces. You don't know fluid ounces yet. We're going to be learning that this year too. But inside this bottle, you can fit 16 fluid ounces before it starts shooting out the top and spilling down the side. So that's one of them, fluid ounces. This one right here says this is 16 fluid ounces, okay? If we're going to compare these two things, this one has 16 fluid ounces, this has 16 fluid ounces. They don't look the same, but they hold the same amount of stuff. That's the capacity. You can put 16 fluid ounces in each one of these. This little juice right here on the side, I'm looking at it, it says this holds 10 fluid ounces. Now this is a smaller bottle than this. You can look at it. This one's a little itty bitty guy. This is a really, really big guy. So we know, just looking at it, that this one probably holds less and this probably holds more. If we look at the number, it says 10 fluid ounces right here. This says 16. We know 10 is a smaller number than 16. So we know that this holds less stuff. Its capacity is smaller. We get out our big guy. We got some Golden Peak tea. If you like Golden Peak tea, you've probably seen this bottle before. This thing holds 52 fluid ounces. That's crazy. That's so many fluid ounces. This has 16 in it. This holds 52. This bottle right here holds more stuff. Right now we're all talking about liquid, but that's not the only thing that we use for capacity. That's all full of liquid. But over here in our thing, we've got cans of soup. We've got refried beans. Why do we have refried beans at school? I don't know. You don't know. Somebody likes refried beans. But this thing says right here on the side that this has a net weight of 16 ounces. There are 16 ounces worth of stuff in here. There are 16 ounces of refried beans. In this thing, we've got 16 ounces of poppy seed dressing. These things hold the same amount of stuff, even though they're different sizes and shapes, because this is how much things weigh, how much stuff we can put in there. So that is our field trip through our fridge. You've seen all of our terrible things that we like to eat as teachers. We're going to go back and we're going to do a different experiment so you can kind of look at different capacities. All right, ready? You already started. Hi, welcome back. Okay, so we're talking about capacity. I showed you our fridge. I showed you all of our food. Capacity is all about how much stuff you can fit into things. So right now I have got a bunch of stuff and they have some stuff in them. So I put a bunch of water in each one of our containers here. I want you to start looking at them, and I want you to think, which one do you think holds the most stuff? And the way we're going to check that out is with our little measuring cup right here. So what I've done is I've made a mark right at the halfway line on this cup. Halfway is right in the middle of the cup. So it goes all the way up here. If I filled it up to full, it would be all the way up to the top part. If I filled it up to half, it would be right here in the middle of the cup. That would be half full. This would be all the way full. If there's nothing in it, like right now, it is empty or not at all full. So I've got all these different things. We got some predictions that we need to make as to how high they will fill up our little container. So, right now, in your brain, I want you to look at all 4 of these things and think, which one is definitely going to fill it up the least? Which one is going to be the smallest amount of water that I'm going to move into one thing? I'm looking at them and I'm guessing, just based on what I know, is that maybe the cup that looks the smallest probably has the least amount of water in it. So its capacity is probably the least. I don't know how many fluid ounces it is because we're not measuring that particular part, but we're going to dump it into our little measuring cup and see how far up it goes. Okay, so I'm going to pull out my little guy right here. Okay, we're going to dump this in, and then we're going to make a little mark and see which one is the farthest up. I'm going to write the number 1 on the side of the cup so we know that this is the first measurement. Don't write on your cups at home. I should get that out of the way. Without any permission from anybody in your house, you don't want to write on your cups because it's kind of going to be stuck there if you do. I've got plenty of cups so I can write on it. So, right here in our little measuring cup, we can make a little mark right there. And I'm going to put the number 1 because this is the number 1 cup. If it's backwards, it's because I'm writing it backwards on the other side of the thing. So that is how far, that is how much liquid we can get out of this size cup. Okay, it filled it up to there. Now notice it doesn't go up as high, but that's because this is a way thicker cup. It's wider than this little guy. If I dump this right back in here, guess what? It filled it all the right way right back up to the top. And that's how far it went up on that first one. I'm going to dump this out so we can check the next one. Let's see. Which one do we want to try next? I'm not going to start with this guy because that's going to be like the grand finale when we do that one. Which one of these 2 do you want to try? You want to try this one? You want to try this one? I can't tell what you want because you're watching a video. I'm going to pick and then you guys can watch. All right, so I'm going to start with, let's say this one. I think this one's got more in it because it is taller. So if you come down with the camera a little bit, this way, look at these tops. This one's got a higher top. It goes up higher. So I think this one right here might have more water in it because it's higher up. So it's probably got a little bit more water in it than this one. He's a short little fella. So this guy probably doesn't have all that much water in it. We're going to dump it in here and we're going to see. This is going to be cup number 2. Okay, let's try our experiment. Empty all the way in there. So I'm going to make a little mark. We're going to put a little 2 by it. This one's going to have a number 2 on it. So we know that this is cup number 2. I'm going to look on here, put my little mark for 2. And put a, is that a backwards 2? Did I draw that 2 backwards?
It is just fine.
Okay, that's number 2. So that's how far up that one goes. I think it's going to be somewhere more than this cup. So I think this next one we're going to do is going to be somewhere in between these 2. I think cup number 3 is going to be in here. Notice that that one it doesn't go up quite as far in this cup. That's because this cup is still wider than this one. But I'm going to pour this back in and it is going to not spill a drop. So there's cup number 2. I'm gonna put my little measuring cup back. There's nothing in it. I'm gonna empty it out just in case. I don't want to mess up my measurement. My prediction is cup number 3 is gonna go somewhere in here because I think that it is shorter. It probably has less water in it. Let's find out. And in fact, I'm gonna run back to my sink. This one is not full all the way up. So I'm gonna make sure that it's completely full to make this experiment work better. I'm gonna spill it all over the place probably. That's okay. Sometimes messes need to be made for science. All right, it's completely full. You can see the little splash of water. We're gonna put it in here. I've made a prediction already. This is cup number 3. Let's check it out. That's all of it. Bop, bop, bop. All right, let's take a look at that water level. Hopefully you can see it. Can you see it in the camera there?
Yep.
All right. What? Cup number 3 went all the way up to here. 3. Now, why do you think that was? Let's look at our 2 cups. This one right here, cup number 3, went higher than that one. But this cup is not higher than this cup. This cup went way higher. But there seems to be more water in it. This one's way closer to half full than this one down here, or even this one right here. If we look at our 2 cups, we can look at the size of them. This one might be shorter, but it is way, way, way bigger. This one I can even fit in this cup real easy. But if we look at the bottoms of them, and for this one, I don't know how you're gonna look at the bottom of it. The bottom of this is real small. The bottom of this is really, really wide. So this cup actually holds way more water than cup number 2. And not a drop is spilled, and it's back to the top. Now, we've been messing around a whole awful lot with this stuff. We now know which one of these 3 cups holds the most, has the biggest capacity. This one for sure, number 3, went way high on our thing. We want to see of our last cup if it's bigger. We know for a fact it's bigger. We can look at it and say it's bigger. But is it bigger than our measuring cup that we've been using? It's time to find out. I haven't done this before, so I don't know. I'm going to make a prediction though. I'm going to look at the sizes. I'm going to say that we now know that sometimes when a cup is wider, it can hold more.
Whoa.
So this one was wider than this one. We knew that because these were wider, this was way wider, it held more water. We just showed that in our little cup. It has a bigger capacity. So these are the same height for sure, but which one do you notice is wider? Which one goes wider this way? Because if we're doing height, they're about the same, right next to each other. But I think this one is way wider. I can put it in front of this and probably completely cover up that glass when you're looking at it. So I think that this, just based on that fact, can hold more water than this. We're going to see if it does. I'm getting ready to dump it in. What happened? There's no way. It's like a magic trick what happened right there. Do you see this? I dumped this whole cup in here. They're real close to the same size. Look at that. They're real close. It only filled it up halfway. This is cup number 4. I'm not going to write on this cup because it is a personal cup of mine. I don't want to mess it up. And that wasn't even really a 4. There's our 4. That only filled it up halfway, guys. Why do you think that is? They're the same height. If we go right across, it's pretty much the same. But it only filled it up halfway. Was it filled to full? No, not at all. Full to half. So if I take this and I dump it right back in here, do you think it's going to overflow and go all over the side and make a mess? Or is it just going to fill it up? Let's find out. Just filled it right back up. No drop were spilled. I want to look at these things again. Like I said, it only got to halfway. The reason for that is because this cup may be the same height as this thing right here, but it is nowhere near as wide. And when we look at capacity, we got to look how high it is, we got to look how wide it is, we got to look how wide it is the other way. So we've got to go up, we've got to go across, we've got to go across this way, because all of that space can get filled up with stuff. This thing right here, we look at how tall they are and they're the same. But if we look at the bottoms, which one's way smaller? They look about the same that way. What if we look at it this way? This one's top is way smaller than this, but there's all that empty space. So that empty space in here gets filled up faster than in this cup right here. So of our four things, this was definitely the smallest amount of capacity. If you're really thirsty, this probably wouldn't do it. This one was next in capacity. This one was third in capacity. That kind of worked out. We got a 3 on that. This one was next. And our measuring cup, which held 4 cups worth of stuff, was definitely the biggest. So that has been our capacity thing. I want you guys to do some thinking about what half full and how full means. So if I have my thing right here, if I need it all the way full, I need to go all the way up. That's going to take a lot of water. If I'm going to get to halfway up, I need to put that much in. That's half. But if I want to get all the way full, it takes a lot more. Okay. So in your work, come with me. You're going to get out your page in your book, and you're going to look at some capacities. I want you to do a little drawing right here. You got to talk to somebody in your house to help you with the reading if you need help with it. So you're going to pull out your page 53. This says, color each glass to match its label. This one says full. And if we're full, let's say we ate a whole bunch of food. I look full right now. Look at my belly. It's sticking way out. I'm full. I can't put any more in it. So for this one, where's full going to be on that glass? This says empty. That one's going to be the easiest drawing you've ever done. What does empty mean? If you're hungry, what do you need to do? You need to put stuff in it. There's nothing in there. This one says half full. That one's going to be kind of hard. You need to think about how far up we went when we were talking about half. Over here it says, circle the glass that is holding more water. So I want you to look at these pictures. I want you to think, which one has more water in it? And then you're going to circle it. And you're going to do that for each of these. So you got to really pay attention to how far up that water goes. The last thing you need to do on this page is look at all the glasses in here, all of them. And you are going to write the letter L, and it shows it right here. If you get real close, that's an L. On the glass that is holding the least amount of water. So of all of these right here, look at all of them. Which one has the little itty bittiest bit? And that's the one you're going to write the letter L on. Once you get this page done, take a picture of it, send it to your picture so we know how you feel about length and half full, and if you're an optimist or if you're a pessimist, we'll know that about you. But go ahead and take a picture of it, send it to your teacher, and we'll see you next lesson. Good work today.